Now, I'm not your parents, obviously, but Kamala, as a concerned citizen, do not mess with this boy. That boy is bad. He is really, really bad. I don't know if officially bad, but he came out of nowhere. Do not mess with him. No. You go mess with Bruno. I think Bruno's a good guy.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Will, and I'm back to give my spoiler review for episode 2 of Ms. Marvel, entitled Crush. This is going to be a spoiler review talking about the latest episode of Ms. Marvel, so if you haven't watched the episode, of course, be forewarned, I will be talking about spoilers in this episode, of the things that went down in the episode, and what we can expect from next week's episode as well. So make sure you pause this video, go watch the episode, and then come back and hear my spoilery thoughts. If this happens to be your first ever video checking me out, hi, my name is Will, and I do geeky stuff on the internet. I do reviews, reactions, discussions, gaming, drinking. I'm drinking right now, apparently, but they're usually all around geekiness. So if that just happens to be your bag, why not subscribe to the channel? I'm on the road to 500 subscribers this year, and I can't get there without you. So please, help a brother out. This latest episode of Ms. Marvel returns us to Kamala's misadventures, especially now that she has her powers. Her powers were unlocked by attaching the bracelet that used to belong to her grandmother, Aisha? Not sure. I think I messed up the name. But it was a family heirloom that was passed down to Kamala at the begrudgingness of her mother, who seems to know a little bit more about this Mongol that she's not letting on, especially about her grandma, her great-grandmother, Kamala's great-grandmother, mother's grandmother. Yes. There's a lot of family drama wrapped up into this bangle where her powers are coming from. So it's going to be interesting to see how these powers are connected to the family in general. It doesn't seem to be just a freak accident. This seems to be something from her family. Case in point as well, when Kamala is training with Bruno on how to use her powers, which we see in the opening montage, which is a really fun montage as well. We get to see Kamala learning what her powers are, how to use them, different things that she can try to do with them. She can create like hardened surfaces, so she was able to traverse expanses with some ease. Still a little difficult here and there. She's able to use the power in various portions of her body. It's very similar if you've ever watched My Hero Academia. I want to throw some anime lore at you. There's the main character, Mizuku Midoriya. The main character, Mizuku Midoriya. Izuku Midoriya. Oh my god, I was saying it backwards. The main character, Izuku Midoriya, he has a quirk called One for All, which allows him to use super strength and other sort of qualities and abilities within his body, but he usually transfers it to different parts of his body in order to do different things. It's very reminiscent of that in terms of how she's displaying the use of her power so far. And another thing, too, as Bruno is analyzing her powers, he realized that the power is not coming from the bracelet anymore. It's coming from her. So whatever the bracelet was unlocked something within her, which is a huge tease of her inhuman background from the comics, where she was actually exposed to the Terrigen Mist, which actually unlocked her inhuman abilities, and that's where her powers actually came from. So it's an interesting little way around like the comic origin of it by giving it a very similar beginning, so which I really enjoyed that part of it. We also get the introduction of Kamran, who is another a new kid in school, a new high schooler who is very much suspect, and more suspect by the time the episode ends. They really pull that reveal off like pretty quick. But he's introduced into their school and begins to interact with Kamala and her friends. She's very much infatuated, to the distress of Bruno. We see it on his face. He's obviously jealous and very much has strong feelings for Kamala beyond friendship, which we got a tease of that in episode 1. So they're starting off with this little love triangle between Kamala. Well, not really a love triangle. Well, it kind of is, but Kamran's not shipping Bruno, so what's the term for it? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. What's the actual term for it? It's escaping my mind. Like I said at the beginning, that boy's shady. That boy is shady. He knows he's too perfect. And when they're too perfect, we all know that something's wrong. But Kamala's in this state of infatuation and obviously has a huge crush on Kamran. But we'll talk about the endings, towards the end of this video. I can speak. I can say words. I like how the episode and how the series is giving all the other characters something to do. Like, no one feels like they're wasted right now. Especially, like, even our friend Nakia, who is trying to get on the board of representatives or something at their mosque. I think it's a mosque. I'm sorry if I mispronounce it, but it's the temple that they go to worship at. And she's, trying to enact change and stuff like that. Be very progressive, which is really nice. And she wants Kamala to be a big part of that. And I think it's also setting up this moment, probably in a future episode, where Kamala's going to have difficulty balancing her new superpowered life with her personal life, because the only person that knows about her powers is Bruno. I think she wants to tell Nakia but hasn't, so that could also cause some drama as we get later into the rest of this first season. I don't know if there's going to be a season 2. It's hard to tell with these Disney Plus series if they're going to do season 2s or not. I'm wondering what the origin of her powers, or the origin of this bangle, is going to have that's in relation with her family. Obviously, this was an heirloom passed down from her to her from her great grandmother, and her mother clearly knows something is up. She knows something about their past, their history, and Kamala spends a good portion of this episode trying to uncover that by talking to people at an event, people within the community, and she's pushing it. She's very pushing it with, like, the button she's pushing between trying to figure out the stuff with her family and just in general, just her general personality. But I love her personality. She's quirky and fun, and she's also just a teenager, but not like an annoying teenager. She's actually cool. Yeah, she's cool. She's a cool character. And even cooler when she actually, for the first time, gets to be a hero. There is an accident at the event that they're at within the community, and this boy is hanging off the side of a building, so she has to, put on her Captain Marvel costume, which they still call her Nightlight. I think that was the name that the girl who she saved during AdventureCon gave out during a Instagram live video or something like that. And so everyone was calling her like Nightlight or Nightbright or something like that, which is just funny. It reminded me a lot of was it Spider Monkey or something that they called Peter Parker when he was dressed in that black suit from Far From Home, but something like that. So she ends up saving the boy, but throughout the episode leading up to this point, when she starts using her powers more and more, she starts seeing visions of a woman. I'm assuming this woman is her great-grandmother, because she clearly doesn't have any information about him, so she probably wouldn't even recognize her if she saw a picture of him. But it causes her to freeze up, which almost gets the boy hurt even more, but she's able to recover and save him. But it's a really cool scene where she kind of steps into her own, trying to use her powers for the first time, with a little mishap here and there. All the while, in the background of this episode, we see the Department of Damage Control interviewing the people from AvengerCon, trying to discover the identity of Ms. Marvel, or Kamala. And obviously, I don't think they're the big bad of this season, but they're definitely going to play an antagonist. Because remember, we're still in the main MCU timeline when the Sokovia Accords are still technically in effect. I think even after all the events of Endgame, I think the Sokovia Accords were still a thing. So having a mass vigilante is still something that they're trying to crack down on, which I find it interesting that they've shifted the Department of Damage Control into this sort of pseudo shield, but not in a good way, in a bad way, because they definitely are playing the antagonist of this series so far. Case in point, where they try to capture Kamala after she rescues the kid from falling. It wasn't until the rescue of the century, conveniently by Kamran and his sweet ride. I see you evil, evil boy. You are evil. Are you a Skrull? Oh my god, is he a Once he rescues her, we get the introduction of Kamran's mother, who has been wanting to meet Kamala for a very long time. And unfortunately, Kamala isn't necessarily wise enough to keep her her mask on, so she takes it off. But it wasn't like Kamran didn't know it was her, which leads me to believe nefariousness coming from Kamran. I don't trust either of them. I'm watching you, obviously, because I'm reviewing the episode. But yeah, that's most of the major talking points of the second episode. We're left with that cliffhanger of like, ooh, who's Mama? And I'm very curious to see who it is. Remember, I don't have a lot of pre-knowledge of Ms. Marvel besides the basics. We're starting to dip into territories of a lot of newer characters that have come out in the last like 15, 20 years that might be outside of the big ones that I usually know of. So while albeit very excited to see these new characters and these iterations of these characters in live action, I'm coming in this mostly blind. So besides Ms. Marvel and her relation to Captain Marvel, her relation to the Champions or to the Avengers in general, I don't know much about her supporting characters as much. So any villains, any antagonists, this is all going to be a surprise to me in watching these episodes. I really am enjoying this series a lot. Iman Vellani, who plays Kamala Khan, she is nailing it. I think her personality, her infectiousness, that sounds gross, but her personality, her overall demeanor, how she presents herself as the character, I think is spot on from all of my understanding and iterations of the character that I've seen. It's funny how much we're getting this sort of look into the mindscape of this teenager, even more so than we ever really got with Peter Parker, where, you know, she's constantly like having these in body moments, in mind moments. Like when she comes home after the party and she starts singing, I forget the name of the song. I'm not going to play the song because I'm pretty sure it's probably copyrighted. But when she's dancing and happy and stuff like that, we've all experienced that as a kid at some point, or even as an adult. I'll start singing and dancing around this house sometimes. I haven't recorded it, but I've done it. It's just fun. It's a fun show. And it's, especially after watching something as intense as like Obi-Wan Kenobi, this is like such a change for the better too, in terms of the tones that we're seeing from all the different series that we've gotten so far. Even more so, like she reminds me a lot of like Kate Bishop, but just like cranked up even more. And I think that's awesome. In terms of personality, obviously, other things. I like the fact that we're tying her power to something within her family, because her family's playing a big role in the series. And I love the dynamic that their family has. Like, albeit, you know, there is, you know, hidden secrets of the family and stuff like that. But everybody loves each other, and like unconditionally. Like even after the confrontation we had in the end of episode 1, like we get a somewhat reconciliation between her and her mother in episode 2. Even though she's constantly pressing her mother, trying to get information about her great grandmother, you know, to try to figure out where her powers are coming from, we see that her mother loves her unconditionally, and that's amazing. And it's great to see that sort of dynamic in a series like this, because we don't get too many series nowadays that really focus on that. I mean, like, you get some series like, yeah, if you look at like The Flash with how their family dynamic is, but they're all adults. We're talking about like, this is a younger person in their family, in their formative years, navigating not only their cultural responsibilities and their, you know, responsibilities to uphold their heritage, but also trying to find their own identity within the entire arc of the series. Plus, on top of that, having superpowers in a world full of super beings and trying to navigate those things. And I find that very refreshing and a joy to watch. And all the characters are very likable. Like, all of her friends are likable. Even the ones, like the girl, I forget her name, it's the one she saved. She's not super nice, but she is enjoyable to watch, and I think she's doing a great job, you know, performing in this series. I like that they're giving all of her friends different arcs. Like Bruno trying to decide if he's going to accept this scholarship or this accelerated learning program that would take him away from Kamala and his friends and the person that he clearly has a strong attraction to. And even her friend Nakia trying to enact real change within a very rigid community that she is a part of, even though she is mixed. She's not necessarily 100% Arabic or Pakistani. Sorry, again, I apologize if I screwed up any of these. But I like that we got that little detail about her because we understand her motivation to trying to find a place to belong. And I think that's one of the underlining tones of the series is finding out where you belong, where you fit in. And Kamala being such a dreamer, she is basically... She's forging her own path with what she's felt like she's always wanted, but obviously that's going to come with hardships, and those hardships are going to define her to push her to that level of being a hero, which she's already displayed in the second episode. It'll be interesting to see how this will all wrap up and tie into the Marvels coming out next year, and how being around your idol is going to probably affect her outlook on being a hero as well. So that's going to be exciting. But again, we're jumping ahead on that. In terms of next week, I'm going to be interested to see what the dastardly duo of Kamran and his mom are planning for Kamala. And also the DODC just being a pain in the ass. Like, it just so after Spider-Man No Way Home with Homeboy, I'm like, dude, go away. You're real. You're the Hayward of this season. Yeah, I'm just excited to see what we're going to find out about her great grandmother, and also just speculation station. If the powers unlocked something, if the bangle didn't necessarily infuse her with the powers, but potentially unlock something within her, are we to guess that maybe there's are they bringing back the Inhumans? I doubt it, but after Black Bolt's arrival, and granted it was an alternate universe version, I wouldn't put it past them, but they could go the route of maybe some Kree DNA within their family, and maybe the mom knew that. Maybe the mom has powers. I have no idea how they're going to spin this, because they are making some changes, obviously, to her power set, so it stands to believe that they will also be changing up some of her actual origin and background. So I'm very excited. I'm loving the series so far. It is just fun. I like that we're getting a little bit of drama between, Bruno not coming out with his feelings towards Kamala, Kamran possibly going to be somebody that she's going to have to battle. We'll see. I like the family dynamic. I think that's awesome. I'm going to feel bad when it hits the fan, because we all know in these series, episode 4 or 5, something's hitting the fan, and a lot more people are going to find out. But I'm excited. So that's my spoiler review for episode 2 of Ms. Marvel. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. As always, thank you so much for checking out this and all my videos. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't already, I do have my Obi-Wan Kenobi episode 5 spoiler review that is on the channel right now, so feel free to check that out. I will hopefully have this posted by this weekend. We've got the finale for Obi-Wan Kenobi next week, and then we still have a few more weeks before this wraps up. Other things coming up down the pipeline have not worked out yet. I've been very busy with the other job, or the actual job. This is the escape. This is the fun part. This is where the fun begins. You can follow me on all different social media platforms listening at the end of this video. Like I said, I got a ton of videos on the channel that you're more than welcome to check out. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. Help me get to 500 subscribers. Be kind to one another, love each other, and until next time, I will catch you later. Hey, thanks for watching this video. If you did like this video, why not give me a thumbs up and share it with your friends? You can subscribe to the channel by clicking on my gorgeous little face right over there. You can follow me on all the various social media platforms right below. And last but certainly not least, if you've got a few extra minutes, why not check out one of the lovely videos floating right over here. Later.